Hello everyone, it's me, that divination witch. I hope you're all doing well. I'm back with another witchy video as always, and this is about, you've guessed it, Hecate. Now, Hecate, I speak about her a lot on this channel, and I've spoken several times about how she helps people and sort of what she gets us to do. If you are a follower of hers, what can you expect? That sort of thing. So this video is dedicated to one aspect of what you can expect from working with her or worshipping her, and that is working with the dead and speaking with the dead. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, if you're new here, I'm Sarah. Hello, welcome. I'm that divination witch, and I hope you stick around. This is a safe space. I like to say that every time because it is. No questions silly. Everyone's got to start somewhere. I try and answer as many people as I can, but if I can't, I encourage others to help one another in the comments. And don't feel silly, ask away. If you like that, please do. Remember to hit subscribe. I've also got a link tree below if you would like to support me further. I do readings, of course, that divination witch. I do a lot of different readings, and I am teaching tarot among other things on Patreon and on YouTube memberships. Hecate, I have explained before in videos. Go check out the playlist if you haven't watched any of them. There's a whole playlist on her. But I've explained that once you start working with her, you start to do things that she does, as in help her with her work. And what is her work? Well, her work's many things, many things. She is, the way I view her, is the divine feminine. Yes, she's a goddess of witchcraft, sorcery, the mysterious things. She is a goddess of liminal spaces. She's the torchbearer, the crossroads goddess, the guide. She's also, well, being those things, a goddess of the restless dead and lost souls. So one of her job roles is to help people and guide people. And these can be living people and people who have passed as well. Now, I guide living people through these videos, even unknowingly. I do these videos in her name and in her honour when I speak about her. And I get people saying all the time how much I've helped them. And that's the main point. I hope I help. I hope people do find something useful from these videos. Of course, I'm not going to be for everyone. That's life. But regardless of that, I'm just the voice here. I'm just passing on the message from her. And yeah, the message today is about, well, how do you help the dead? How do you help lost souls? So yes, you can be helping the living in numerous ways. This is how I do it. But helping the dead, well, how is that? Well, there are several ways. So the first thing I want to just get out there is that, yes, there's a lot of fear mongering in her name. And I say this time and again, but I hear the age old thing of, if you work with Hecate, loads of spirits are going to come after you. And even in antiquity, even in history, it was said that she had a horde of spirits with her. And I'm not saying that that's untrue. Of course not. If she is a guide to the dead, then the dead are going to follow her. She's guiding them. So there is going to be times when there are lingering spirits around her. And not just spirits of dead people, by the way. These are going to be like spirits of higher powers as well. Obviously her hounds, her dogs is the most common one. But not just that, she has helpers. The ancient Greeks called them the lamparts, or they were the nymphs of the underworld. And it is said there are other spirits that help her too, and people who have passed on, who have opted to remain with her to help. This can happen, and I have seen it. Well, through my experience, seen it, through my spiritual eye, not my physical eyes, my spiritual eyes. So she isn't always alone, don't get me wrong. There is some truth in that. But that can be intimidating at first if you're not used to it. I mean, I'm pretty desensitized to it now. But if you're a beginner, you're going to crap yourself. I did once upon a time, so I get it. I get why there is fear mongering, but it doesn't mean she's going to purposefully tell them to do something to you. You know, they're not going to be disrupting your life totally. It comes with the territory. It comes with the job. So you will witness that sort of thing, but that doesn't mean they're out there to attack you or for you personally. It's just happenstance that, okay, well, she's in the middle of doing something else, helping them too, and they're with her, you know? But that's not all the time. Don't get me wrong. It's not all the time, just sometimes. And I just wanted to get that out there first, that when that happens, you're not expected to do anything, by the way. Especially if you're a newbie. She's no fool. She's an all-powerful goddess. She's not going to, expect much of you if you're brand new to this. So don't be putting an expectation on yourself and getting worried and anxious or whatever. She's not going to be expecting you to be moving spirits on when she's there and you're brand new. But I just want to get it out there that, all right, that can happen, but there's no deeper reason than that. Now, sometimes she can lead spirits to you, though. But she's not going to do it if you're not ready. So it's happened to me. I've done a story time on this channel about one of the more recent times it happened. It happens all the time when I do readings for people. That's something I'll get into in a bit. But when I say she leads spirits to you, I mean you can be just living your everyday life, popping to the shops, going to the supermarket, whatever you're doing. And a spirit that is a lost soul will seek you out. And it's not just followers of Hecate that this happens to. I've heard of mediums talking about stuff like this as well. People who aren't even witches or believe in her or know who she is even. I have heard that lost souls, I don't want to scare anyone, but they can attach themselves to people. And it's not always spiritual people, although mostly it is, but not always. And this is where people think, oh my gosh, I'm haunted and stuff like this. Probably because you can be haunted, technically. That's something to talk about another time. I'll do a video about lost souls at some point, please remember, as a whole. But yes, spirits normally can tell through energy as to who can help them and who can't. But sometimes a spirit, say, I've had it happen to me, where a spirit's latched onto me because I reminded them of their grandkid. That happened to me. It was an old man spirit. Didn't know him from Adam, as they say where I'm from. Didn't know him at all. And the poor guy attached to me. This was years ago, before really working with Hecate. But afterward, once you're opening up, no matter what you believe in, I feel like spirits can tell if there's potential of help. Because it's very hard if you're a lost soul, and imagine you can't really communicate and you don't know, you can't really escape. You're just wandering, you don't know what to do. You can't communicate with anyone really. It's a select few you can communicate with, so it must be very lonely and very scary for them. So Hecate, being who she is, I do strongly feel she sometimes leads souls to her people, her chosen, for lack of a better word. I don't like to call it like that, but those who she knows can help. And when that's the case, me as a witch or you as a witch can cross them over. Mediums can do the same. It's not just in Hecate's name. There are plenty of people who can do this, but you can help the spirit cross over. Now, to do so, it's complicated to explain. A lot of lost souls are here because of unfinished business. So if you can help them resolve the unfinished business, that is one way. Or help them see that actually the unfinished business is finished now. So for example, I'll go back to the latest story time for me because I can't think off the top of my head. But when that guy followed me home, so it's in the story time on my channel about spiritual cleansing and stuff, but I'll tell it again. A spirit followed me home from the city where I live, and he was unalived in 1989, I believe, which is, well, I'm doxing myself. It's the year I was born. So he was unalived by his ex-girlfriend choking him, but she got a guy to do it. They were all on a night out or something, and he got jumped. And the guy choked him, or another word for that is garrotting, because that's what I kept hearing in my head when he was here. It was an angry person going, garrotting, garrotting. And I was like, what is this? I thought it was carrot. I didn't know what it meant. I had to look it up. So it wasn't just the fact he was unalived. He was unalived where I live, essentially, not far from where I live. But then his body was hid in a coal heap. If you don't know, in the 60s to 80s onwards, coal mining was a popular thing in the northeast of England. There was coal mines in a lot of places. And so, yes, when you have a coal mine, from what I remember, there were coal heaps where the coal was stored in big mountains of coal. And then there was slag heaps. I believe that's like the waste product. I can't remember if it was in the coal heap or the slag heap, but he was hidden, his body, and it was found. His body was found, and he was physically put to rest. But that's a sticky, horrible way to die. It's triggering and vile. So it just so happened that I had literally just walked past where he was unalived, where his soul, his spirit, still was. And he followed me home, and I didn't realise at first, and then I helped him cross over. We actually sat down and talked. And when I say sat down and talked, this is not like me talking to you right now. This is me meditating, focusing on his energy. Meditation helps you focus, but you don't have to be in a deep trance sort of thing. If you've ever seen a medium and how they work, you see pictures in your mind. I mean, this is clairvoyance. Once your third eye's open, it comes easier to you. But you can see pictures, you can hear things, you can feel things, smell things. Like, this is the senses. But to do so, the only way I can explain it is to sit. I close my eyes automatically because it helps me focus and just focus on the energy of that spirit or that person. This is how I do readings for people. You've got to focus on a person's energy to channel it. So that's how I sat down and spoke with him. And when I speak back to the spirit in that way, it's me speaking in my mind. Sometimes I can speak out loud, but mostly it's me in my mind. And essentially, it was through visualization, which was through, I suppose, the astral realm as to how I moved him over at that point. So we sat down and had a talk, calmed him down. I explained the situation, what had happened. He come to terms with it. He just needed help finding the light, because it is such a thing, finding the light. He couldn't find that. And he gave me some words of advice for myself in my life, and I'm appreciative of that. He didn't have to do that. And leveled with him. It's like, I suppose, in a way, counselling, but for the dead in this regards. So, I moved him on. It's literally like a portal opens up and you guide them to that. That's literally it. That's how you do it. And I've told the story time before, but that's one way of moving them on and helping and talking with the dead. And another way is by bringing peace to the living. Now, one of the first mediumship sort of readings I did, again, I've done a story time on this channel. It's one of my old videos, though. It was through a TikTok live of all things, because Mother thrust me into it. And I say she won't put you into this if you're not ready. But I was avoiding it for a while, speaking with spirits of people's lost loved ones and human spirits, essentially. For some reason, I find it way easier to speak with, deities and angels and things like this than humans. Or it's easier to speak with ancient humans. I think it's because they don't feel of this world. I don't know how to put that into words. I just find it easier for some reason. But I suppose it's because even though I've got a YouTube channel, this is just me personally. In real life, I am pretty a shy person. I come across different. I try and come across confident, and I can be outspoken now. I mean, when I was a kid, I wouldn't say boo to a goose. I was so shy. I talk a lot, but I don't open up to people. I don't find it easy to open up. Even though I've got this channel and help people like this, I don't divulge all my secrets to everyone. I can be pretty personal, pretty private when I want to be. And so I think even though a spirit is in spirit form, I feel like this is something I've got to work on. I feel like I don't want to. It's like meeting someone new for the first time. It's that awkwardness. When you start a new job, or you're in I don't know, like you're in a situation like that where you're in a room full of new people and you're making your first impressions, and in time the dynamics work themselves out. Who's going to get along with each other, things like this. Well, not everyone gets along with each other is what I'm trying to say. So when someone's of a similar time period to me, I'm like, what if they don't get along with me? Because not everyone does. And I'm like, oh, but I'm the one who's been asked to do this message. And I have had it happen, actually, where I remember it was someone's granddad that was pretty rude to me. And I thought, fuck you. Like, I'm only passing a message on. He warmed up in the end, but I thought there's no need for that. It does happen even with spirits. They're not perfect, just like humans. So that's why I get a bit like, oh, it's because I am a bit of an anxious, shy person. Ask people on my Patreon. We do a group chat on the Patreon, and last time we were doing this group video call, I was like, oh, hi. I'm just dead, like, awkward. It takes me a while to warm up. It's different, me chatting to the camera. I'm used to it by now. It takes a while to warm up is what I'm saying. And it's the same. Even though they're a spirit, I'm still like, oh, awkward. But yeah. So I was avoiding it for a while. That's why I went on that tangent. I was avoiding doing this for a while, and Mother pushed this on me, and the story, I'll never ever forget it, and I'm going to tell you the story again. It's again a bit triggering, sorry about this, but yeah. So I used to do TikTok lives all the time. Some of you guys know me from that. Someone commented the other day, hello. I used to do a lot of free readings for people, especially when I was practicing more a few years back for other people. Practice makes perfect. So I would do quick readings for people. Now, a girl came onto the live. If you've ever seen a TikTok live, there's normally quite a few people in the room. The energies can be intense as well, let me tell you. And the comments are whizzing by at the bottom. And she put, will I ever find my sister? And I was just in a silly, goofy mood at the time and said something like, oh, have you lost her? Not meaning unalived, being silly. Then I felt as if it was Hecate saying, this is not a joke, don't laugh. And then it felt like Hecate was saying, look, it's not appropriate, this is serious. And I just felt this spirit come into the room with me. And long story short, I did a reading with the sister. And the sister was this lady's sister who was unalived by somebody who was from Blackpool and was brutally unalived by a man. And she was only young. I think she was a teenager when that happened. Her name's Paige Chivers, I believe, off the top of my head, remembering. And I hadn't heard of this at all. And her story, I mean, this is getting a bit personal, resonated with me because I went through something similar when I was young. Obviously, I'm here to tell the tale, so lucky. So, this spirit was in a similar position. You're young, you think you know everything, talking with boys, it's a predator. She met up with the guy and he did that. And to this day, they've never found her body. And at the time on this TikTok live, this girl was in the room with me and it felt like me but years ago because we were the same sort of age group, and she liked the song Pretty Green Eyes, and I just felt like I had to put that song on. We was chatting, she was offering words of comfort to our sisters. She had family with her, but she hadn't fully settled, you know, and her unfinished business really was more not to do with her but her family, the pain, the fact that her remaining family didn't know where she was, and she wouldn't tell me where she was either because she was getting upset. She was getting upset. She didn't. She said she hates every time you look up her name, he comes up. Hated that. He gets all this infamy, and it's just sickening to her that she's forever stuck with his name next to hers. And this was the first sort of mediumship sort of dabbling I had, and I was blown away by it, and I just gave a message and that was it. And then a couple of weeks went by and I was just live again and the same lady popped up. Now this guy, just to preface this, the guy who did that was in prison at the time, and she popped up to say, oh, he's been found deceased. And I was like, what? Shocked, jaw dropped. And, you know, he'd been locked up for over a decade, 2 decades or so, you know, a long time. And all of a sudden, just after my reading, he's found like that. Now, I did nothing myself personally, but we know who did, right? If you can read between the lines, Mother Hecate, goddess of justice. I feel like she had a hand in this. You know, once we found out about that spirit. So, yeah, after that, you know, I don't know if they found any sort of peace with him being unalived. You know, I was empathetic, and I remember just giving a reading at the time, and the girl, Paige, she just wanted her family to be happy and to try and move on, and she still wouldn't say where she is. I think it's because she doesn't want them to have the pain of that, because it's not very nice. Because what they'd find wouldn't be very nice is all I'm going to say, because I'm trying to be respectful, because this is another reason why I won't do those sorts of readings on blooming unsolved murders and conspiracies like that, because it's somebody's relative, it's somebody's sister, daughter, child. Anyways, and that was the first time, and bringing some sort of peace to the family. Now, I'm not going to say I've fully helped her moved on with that one case, because that was my first brush with it, but I've gave that story because it's memorable, and also because stuff like that does happen. That's another way you can help. You can help by giving closure to the living relatives, the living family. And it doesn't have to be something so tragic like that. But by helping, by passing on the message, by passing on the love, then you are helping the spirit as well. Another way I would say is to educate. What I mean by this is, if, I don't know, if say, for some reason I'm getting a picture of a haunted house in my mind, and you know, places like that, there could be a lot of unrest. It's haunted for a reason. If there's something brutal that's happened somewhere, or something not nice that's happened somewhere, it can stand to reason that the place will be haunted, because, well, souls are earthbound at that place because of something that's happened to them there. And if that's the case, we can educate about that and stop it, one, happening to other people, but two, people interfering. I'm guilty of it myself, and look, people are going to continue to do it. I'm not wholly against ghost hunting and paranormal investigations. They're interesting. I've done it myself. I would still do it myself within reason, but I think sometimes we can cross the line with it. Some of the methods I've seen, some of the things that are asked, it's all flippant with no regard, and no value added, no help. I mean, I've seen literally YouTube lives and TikTok lives of so-called paranormal teams going into like a haunted building, and them vapes with where it's like smoking a train. No offense if you smoke them, but those vapes that have lots of vape smoke that comes out, steam, whatever, vapor that comes out. I've seen them like it's a pitch black room and they've got lasers or lights pointing up and they blow the smoke from the vape. I've seen it literally from a vape, blowing smoke into the light to see if there's any shapes. I mean, what sort of investigation's that? Come on. That's my opinion, of course, but I just think we need to show the dead more respect like that. And if you can't help, educate, let people know what happened there, and let people know, look, maybe let them rest in peace unless you can help. That's what I feel anyways. And I feel like, yeah, Hecate herself, going back to her, she will, if you are working with her, she will have you do things to help. It might not be all the time, but there will be times you'll find a spirit find its way to you and you've got to help them. Or that you're doing mediumship readings, you're passing messages on to loved ones when they need it the most. Doing things like this, making people aware of certain things, educating, like I say, she will push you into doing stuff like that, but only when you're ready, okay? You may feel like I was with that first mediumship thing that I've told you about, that I'm not ready, I'm going to block this out, oh my God, but she knows when you're actually ready, all right? I'm not going to say it's going to be a comfortable ride, don't get me wrong, but she knows. And yes, this will happen, and I don't think many people have spoke about this before, so I just thought, right, I'm going to speak about this today. Let me know if you've had an experience like this, whether or not you work with Hecate. Have you ever helped someone? Have you done mediumship? What's your paranormal encounters? Have you ever encountered a lost soul or helped them move on? Or, what is your opinion on this? What's your take on this? Is there any other way you can help a lost soul that I haven't even thought of in this video? Please let me know. Put it in the comments. I'm always happy to help and to read what you guys have got to say. Even if I can't reply to every single one, I do read them. And yes, if you made it this far, you may as well hit subscribe. And until next time, stay safe, stay witchy.